Well, welcome to our sunrise birding service. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm on my phone because our internet is out at our home, so we won't be able to record this. I think it'll be too jerky, but the audio will work. So welcome to our sunrise service. Great to have you here. Our sunrise here is at 7:19. We started a little bit late because of the internet problems, but you can see the sun coming up over there. Let's celebrate that. That is just really, really wonderful. So this is our second week of autumn. The moon was going to be full on Monday. The moon set early last night, but we did have Venus come up this morning. Jupiter was already up. Saturn set with the moon, and Mercury and Mars is over there about ready to come up. What are the stars and the moon doing in your area? Take a moment if you're watching this on recording and just think about that and look out the window. What are they doing? Um, and what are the birds doing in your area? So here's the number one rule during these little 15-minute times together. If you see any birds or other animals, interrupt me. I'll interrupt myself. So what are the birds doing here? So far, I've heard American crows, northern cardinals, chipping sparrows. It's been pretty quiet, but it hasn't been quiet during the night. In South Carolina, over 43 million birds passed over. I don't know if that's a record, but that's uber high. That's really, really, really high. And in Fairfield County, I think about, well, let's see, 6 million flew over. So it's just really, really an incredible time. We began our services, our time together, our practice together with a reading. And I would like to honor a long time um, global figure, really dedicated her life to people and to other animals. Jane Goodall, who died yesterday at the age of 91 while on tour. So I have a couple readings from her, and I'm sorry it's so jerky. This is what happens when the internet goes out. I only have so many hands here. So here we go. She wrote, "Hope is often misunderstood. People tend to think that it's simply passive, wishful thinking. I hope something will happen, but I'm not going to do anything about it. That's not right. This is indeed the opposite of real hope. It requires action and engagement. Each of us matters, has a role to play, and makes a difference. Each one of us must take responsibility for our own lives, and above all, show respect and love for all living things around us, especially each other." Why don't we just take a moment and pause and remember this life of Jane Goodall and be grateful for it? I knew Jane. I never talked to her in person. I had seen her speak in person, but we had a running conversation in email. And I looked for her because I was struggling with how to serve the world, and I had a fragile sense of hope. And she, I was looking for discernment for leadership, and she certainly offered that. She helped tell me that I couldn't accomplish everything in one day. It was her relentless, her persistence, her 70 years almost of working step by step by step to have things happen. And I so mourn her passing. I so mourn her passing and yet celebrate her life and say, well, at 91 on tour, speaking tour, trying to help the world, that certainly is a piece for me and how I want to live in this world. She wrote a lot about hope in her last years, helping others as she helped me. Um, and what she said about hope not being a wishful thinking, but it's more like Joanna Macy said, it's active hope, which is something that I call faith. And by faith, I mean being grounded in knowing that all beings are beautiful and wonderful and have dignity that's separate, that isn't a part of me, and yet all lives matter. Everything matters. And even though I cannot save or predict outcomes, it's meaningful that I do to be present to and to help others while I can. I know that what I can do today is meaningful because other lives are meaningful. and I'm connected to all of life. And what befalls another befalls me as well. And so this is a sense of unconditional solidarity. And with practice becomes my embodied default. And that's why we gather here to be with birds and each other so that we may relieve each other of our glorious burden, our glorious purpose, which is, as Mary Oliver says, is to love what is mortal, to hold it against our bones as if our life depended on it. And when the time comes to let it go, let it go. And this letting go is sure, it's a letting go of outcomes, but it's also knowing that lives come and go, but love does not. And what we've been doing after we have this reflection time following our reading, it's just to pause a moment and breathe in. If you're outdoors, feel the wind, feel the humidity, feel the cold, feel the heat. What's going on around you? What are your senses telling you? You take it in. It's cool here. I'm a little cold. But at least it's not raining. This is our first sunrise birding for life where we actually have seen the sun. As Imelda went through the hurricane, the tropical depression. There's a wind. It's clear. Taking in what Jane said. Loving what is mortal. And then we follow this time. What we've been doing is just a little bit of science. Uh, any birds popped up that you've seen? I have not seen any pop up since we began. I haven't heard much either. Okay, so the science today is I'm going to do it in story and metaphor, okay? And it's in honor of Jane. So it's a story about chimpanzees, and I'm not quite sure how this is going to go with holding the phone for what we're doing. So there's a family of chimpanzees, and they're walking along a long, dusty road way off into the distance. And it's a mother and a child, a daughter, and she's holding the hand of her daughter as they walk along the road. And then on the other side of the road, here is there's a human family, a mother and her daughter, and she is also holding the hand of her daughter. The two families walking on each side of the road. And then the mother turns around behind her and grabs the hand of her mother, the humans. And the chimpanzees are doing the same. And then the grandmother turns around and or turns a little bit and grabs the hand of her mother, the great grandmother. And the great grandmother holds the hand of the great great grandmother all the way back on this long road, one mother after another holding the hand. And then a most amazing thing begins to happen. The two lines of chimpanzees and humans begin to converge until way millions of years ago, they each are holding the human side holding the right hand of the ancient ancestor, the ancient grandmother, and the chimpanzee line holding the hand of the ancient grandmother. We all go back to an ancient great-great-grandmother. And then that great-grandmother, she's holding the hands of all those that came before her. You know, all the early mammals all the way back. It's an amazing sight to see how much we are connected, but we are humans. We can be fearful. We can want to drop our hands in fear. It's so hard to hold on to everything, to hold on to what is mortal as if our life depends on it, but our life does depend on it. If we do not take the hand of the other, we become isolated, fearful. We feel we don't belong. So if we can embrace the other, embrace reality, we can be embraced in return, feel welcomed, and welcome others. So our practice for today is to just ponder that long road back. You can see over my shoulder, just imagine the long road going into the sunset. What do you see on that long road? Whose hand are you picking up? Who do you feel connected to? Who is part of your family? And let us just be in silence for a while. to consider our family. I'm going to turn the phone. So I'm off. You can see the sun over there while we ponder this a few minutes. And if it's on recording, you could just hit pause. So the question of the day is, who is in the family of things? Who is in your family? Who did you see? Did you see that great grandmother going back to early primates and mammals and reptiles and fish, all the way back to early ancestors, the two bacterial cells, two different kinds of species that merged together to form our home line? What does it feel to be so connected in spirals and webs and circles to so much of life? You can answer that in the comments and do that here as well. So we weren't very birdy today, but we were primate today, and we're always primate. But we're celebrating life. And whoever we celebrate it, we're also celebrating birds and ourselves. So we're going to close today. Sorry for all the internet problems, and this is going to be a really bad recording. We are meeting a couple times a week at sunrise. Next week it'll be. We'll still try around 7:15. We'll start early. We'll fix the internet problem, so the recordings won't be so bad. And we have an in-person retreat coming up in December, Bird and Zen, here at Wondrous Retreat Center. We hope to see that. We got a lot of stuff online. So check us out, but don't check out. We need your active host.